I've been doing a lot of wood rings the last 3 or so years, and one of my favorite things to work with is Sacred Grove. This is wood from just outside the church property of the Sacred Grove. It's kind of old, it's rotted, it's spalted, and we're gonna go ahead and we're gonna make a ring out of this. So this one's gonna be a little different. Instead of just making a ring, this one's going to be more of a carved ring feature. I'm envisioning more of a curved, filed edge to it. I used to make some of these rings quite a bit, and I'm going to make another one today. I first cut the wood down to size. I'm looking for an area that might have some good definition, some good character, something that would make a good ring out of it. I'm thinking about this area where it has what used to be a branch that came out of it. I'm thinking that might give a little bit of variability, give something that's interesting to look at. Using this board, I'm making a saw stop of sorts so that I can cut down this piece of wood into some thinner slices to make some ring blanks out of. With several thin slices of wood cut out, it was time to go in and stabilize this wood. As I said before, it was just kind of fallen, rotted, spalted wood that came off the floor of the Sacred Grove. So to stabilize it, I will infuse it with a resin called cactus juice, which is a very thin resin that under a vacuum will seep into all the places of the wood that have air, and it will replace that with the resin, which then gets baked and cured with heat. Once the wood stops bubbling and releasing the gases under the vacuum here, I will then remove the vacuum and let it sit for several days to make sure that all of that resin can soak in to the voids left behind where the air was. Now you see me taking out the weights that were holding this wood under the liquid there. And then I'll wrap it in tin foil and it's ready to go in the oven. I bake the wood at 250 degrees Fahrenheit for about 2 hours. This will go in and cure the resin and allow the wood to come out strong and almost rock hard. It's pretty great. It makes a soft material that's very difficult to work with, hard and durable, wearable. It's pretty good. Now that the wood is stabilized, it's time to find some good areas that look like they have some good character, and we'll cut it down and we'll make some ring blanks. Using the drill press and these diamond hole saws, I put a center hole in so that we can start working on the rings. Now, I started out with 2 ring blanks here just in case there was an issue with one of them, and I'm glad I did, because the first one that I put a hole in here, after I sanded it down, I found there was this very large void within the wood itself, and I couldn't actually make a ring out of it, so I had to go to my backup. Next, I needed to sand the ring blank down to a roughly round shape. I took a ring a couple of sizes bigger than the ring that I wanted and traced the outline on the ring blank so that I could get a good reference for how much I needed to sand off. when complete, this ring is going to be quite thin, and if I left it just as the wood, it would not be wearable. It would not be able to withstand normal wear and tear. So I'm turning to fiberglass here to make a ring liner that will help give it a little bit of strength and support. I previously printed a set of ring liner templates that I can use on my 3D printer, as this ring's going to be a size 9. I'm going to take and I'm going to put some tape on it, and I'm going to put it inside out, the sticky side out, so that I can then wrap the fiberglass around that and give it a good tight wrap to make a sturdy ring liner. A quick dip in CA glue allows the fiberglass to then be set in place and create that sturdy ring liner we're looking for. Now I jump over to the lathe and I put the ring liner on the unimandrel, and I'm going to sand it real quick, and then I'm going to cut it down to size. Here you can't quite see my facial expression, but I was pretty surprised. This plastic heated up with the sawing, and my ring liner melted to my unimandrel, so it's kind of one piece now, but that's okay, we'll work with it. Now it was time to put the ring blank on the lathe and start the sanding process. We actually had to go in and sand the inside of the ring so that the inner diameter matched the outer diameter of the ring liner, and I just kept sanding and testing and sanding and testing till I got to a place where the ring liner would just barely fit inside this ring blank. Now that the ring liner fits just inside the ring blank, a little bit of pressure, and there we are. We just have to glue it all together, and we'll have a good sturdy ring to start shaping. Just a quick dip in the CA glue, and then we can turn our attention to the next step. For this ring, that next step is going to be removing all of this plastic from the 3D printed ring liner and 3D printed unimandrel. Now the trick of this is going to be doing it without burning myself, which, let's be honest, I didn't quite accomplish that one. And with a few choice words, we have a ring blank that is fully stabilized and supported by a fiberglass liner. And now it's time to kind of go in and clean up the edges and start shaping it. Unlike most of my other videos, where when I go in and shape a ring and sand it and get it down to size, I just do that on the lathe. This video, this ring is going to be shaped by hand, because not only do I want to have a good thin outer edge to the ring, but I'm also going to be putting putting a shape into it. Once I was satisfied with the general shape and thickness of the ring, I took a pencil and I drew the shape that I was going for. I was going for a very petite curved ring, almost, I don't know if we call it a flare or a wishbone or a crown. I've heard it described several ways, but I want it to have a unique little bend in there, something that makes it stand out on the finger, and makes it so that you could wear it with another ring, perhaps a wedding ring or a diamond ring of some sort. After getting the general shape drawn on the ring that I wanted, I just started filing it again. These rings take quite a bit of time, but they look so good at the end. The hand-filed rings, they're unique, they're different. No two rings are going to be the same. Now, for those that don't know, Joseph Smith, the first prophet of the restoration of the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints, when he was 14 years old, didn't know which church to join and wanted to know what God wanted him to do. And reading in the Bible, he learned that he could ask God and God would answer him. So he went to a place called the Sacred Grove and prayed and asked God which church to join. And God the Father and Jesus Christ came and visited him and told him not to join any church, but that they had a work for him to do. The Sacred Grove, then, for us, is a very special place, a very quiet, peaceful place where we can feel the Spirit of God, and it's nice to be able to have a little bit of that to share. And there it is. The rough shape is all done, and now it's time to finish this ring. The finishing process is going to entail hand sanding this ring and going through several different grits of sandpaper, from coarse grit all the way to very fine grit. I think I went up to about 2,000 on my grit scale. I just take sandpaper from each one of these different grits and go in and try and sand away all the file marks and get it to be really nice and smooth and a good nice shine. So when Joseph Smith saw God the Father and Jesus Christ in the Sacred Grove, the Lord again had a prophet on the earth, something he hadn't had for hundreds of years. Through Joseph Smith, the Lord restored his church, and we again had apostles and prophets who helped us understand truths that were not well understood in the greater Christian theology, things that were confusing. For me, Joseph Smith taught me that I can reach out to my Savior, Jesus Christ, that I can have that personal relationship with Him and with God. And when the sanding's all done, I wipe the dust off the ring, buff it a little bit, and then we'll finish it with a quick dip in the CA glue to give it a good protective coating and shine. And the big reveal. I took it in to take some pictures with my indoor lettuce garden. Thought it'd be kind of fun. It's so small and yet it's so strong. I really think it turned out pretty great. I hope my client loves it.